Hi, my name's Dr. Charles, and today I'm going to do something a little different. I'm going to teach you how I make thumbnails. So a little bit of a disclaimer, I am no thumbnail expert. I've been on YouTube since July 1st of 2019, but I have gotten pretty good compliments on my thumbnails. This video is more so for the people who are just starting out on YouTube, have no idea where to begin making a thumbnail. You can kind of see here at the very beginning of YouTube, I didn't know what to do. I just kind of grabbed an image off the internet and slapped my face on it. Didn't really do much else with the creative side of it, but you can kind of tell as I went and made more and more videos, I kind of got some different techniques, different coloring schemes and things under my belt, and I ended up with some thumbnails that I'm pretty happy with and that other people seem to enjoy as well. So I'm going to teach you my process. So I've already opened up Photoshop. What I'm going to do first is create new. 1920 by 1080 dimensions, and then I'm going to go to 300 on the resolution because I want this thing to be beautiful. So here we are with my blank background. I'm going to make a custom thumbnail from scratch. I don't have any gameplay recorded or anything, and I don't really want to throw my face on this thumbnail. So I'm going to start with a blank background and create a custom one. So I make sure that my background layer is selected, and I'm going to go down here to this little icon right here. So when I click that, it's going to give me a couple of different options. These are effects that I can add, but first I need to get something there because it's just solid white right now. So you can actually do a solid color by clicking that. There's all these colors here. You can do a pattern, and they've got things like trees, water. If I click on that, trees, grass, water, and there's other things you can download. But what I like to do is come to gradient. And with gradient, you can do quite a bit of different things. There's different styles. So there's like a linear style, which is this, a radial, where it kind of bursts out from the center, angle, which kind of, you can move the angle around, like so. Reflected kind of gives you like this stripe effect here, and you can actually like change the size of that stripe. And then we have diamond, which is kind of like the radial, but it's in a diamond shape. Let me get that back here. There you go. Kind of like a sunburst. So actually, I'm going to select the linear and do something with that. So I'm going to now change the color because I'm not particularly fond of yellow, so I'm going to actually click in this box, and it's going to open this up for me. Now it's got some like pre-built gradients in here if you look at the presets, so you can actually use one of those. They're all fairly nice gradients, you can see different effects, different arrangements, angles, all that type of thing. Go down to the reds. See, you can do all kinds of different colors. But I'm going to show you how to make your own in case you want a certain set of colors. Don't want the color to fade to nothing, which is what this is implying. So actually what I'm going to do is select that, and under basics, I'm going to click on the one that goes into a solid color. So I'm going to hit OK on that, and I'm going to go over here and click on the color now, the color bar. So that'll pull this up. I'm not a huge fan of yellow, like I said. Let's change that to red. Okay, I already like it. So then this bar here in the middle you can affect the color gradient. You can affect the steepness of that gradient. So I can bring the black, make the black just on the edge. I can also do it the opposite and make the red just on the edge. I'm going to kind of keep it in the middle. And what I did there was an accident. You want to grab this. So I'm going to kind of keep it in the middle, maybe like 3/4 of the way here. You can also do a noise gradient where it kind of like just brings these bars in here like you've got static or something. You can change the colors in those, different color layouts, but I prefer the solid method. So now that that's done, I'm going to add in some text here. So going down to my text tool and clicking in this box, I'm now going to I'm going to type something first, I guess. Making a thumbnail easy. Okay, now that's boring. That's some boring font with no effect to it whatsoever. What you don't want to do now is choose a color that's similar to your background, because that's obviously not going to stand out. You don't want to you want some colors that are going to complement each other. For instance, I don't think the blue on the red is very easy to read, kind of like strains my eyes. Even, you want to select a lighter color. White is actually the easiest color to read on any background, I believe, obviously other than white. So we'll go for white for now until we see something else we like. But what I'm going to do more importantly is I'm going to change this font. This font is kind of gross. So if I go over here to this dialog box on the side of properties, I can affect the size of the font. I'm going to leave it back at 30 for now. I can change the font. So you see here I have all these different options, and as you kind of scroll over them, it'll pop it up and show you what that looks like. So I'm going to go for I'm going to go for a font that's really bold and that kind of stands out. There's some cool fonts that you can get actually from dafont.com. A PewDiePie thumbnail video actually cued me into this. I had no idea it existed. Just kind of read the terms of service for certain fonts. Some are absolutely free to use, and some have some restrictions on commercial use and things like that. Alright, this seems kind of like a gaming type thumbnail, so a gaming related thumbnail. That's most of what my content is, so I'm going to stick with that one. Actually, now if I click on that with this tool here, I can actually go over the same way I did with the background and actually add effects to this font. The FX option, I can click on that, and one of the effects I want to add is an outer glow. I don't think you should ever leave you can, but I feel like it's a lot more effective if you add an outer glow or a drop shadow to your text. So for instance, if I click on the outer glow, it's going to bring up this dialog box, and you can watch these things in real time. I don't think that yellow looks great, so I'm going to look for another color that I think looks better. Obviously, we don't want white on white. Let's try a black. The yellow doesn't look too bad. Just for the purpose of illustration, I want to show you some things you can do with this this outer glow. So you can change the opacity of it, so you can make it really you can make it transparent, or you can make it solid. You can also affect the noise in it, so you can make these like the kind of staticky effect on there, so you can change that around. You can also affect the spread of it, so if I spread it all the way, it's going to be thick and solid, whereas if I like take it down to just a little bit of spread, it's going to look more like a glow from a light. You can also change the size of it. You can make it like, barely there. You can make it kind of there, or you can make it like huge. You can also affect the range of it. That also kind of affects the spread. A range of 0 would, of course, mean that it's like sucked tight to it. A range of 100, you're going to be kind of more spread out. So let's go back for that glow look. So actually, another thing I can do is add a drop shadow. Now, a drop shadow is going to be, think of the outer glow as like right around the image, where the drop shadow is kind of like, the shadow. I can actually change the angle to show you distance. There we go. So the distance actually will show you the angle that your shadow is dropping. Think of it kind of like the sun is hitting it on one side and it's kind of like, casting a shadow. So you can kind of move that around wherever you want. If you keep the distance at 0, it will actually just act like another glowing effect. And again, the spread is going to determine like whether it's solid or whether it's like a kind of a glow. You can select different types of effects, like the dissolve kind of adds this like spray paint or static kind of thing. There's all kinds of different ones down through here. Multiply will change some things, color burn. So you just kind of flip through and see what you like and what you don't. Alright, so after playing around for a little while, I've kind of completely changed my direction of where I was taking this, but hopefully through that other one that I was making, you can kind of see that there are some different effects, some like glows and things you can do. I actually went back and instead of the solid gradient pattern, instead of the linear gradient pattern, I actually went to which was this, I went to the reflected pattern, which I kind of looked a little bit better. It went on top and bottom dark. I also selected green because it pops more to me. I also changed that yellow glow to black to better match the green background, because as I was just changing it around, it seemed to go a little bit better. See, if I take it back down, it kind of doesn't show up as well, but I went ahead and made it solid. I also want to mention that over here, if you see that you have, say I have the drop shadow, which I still do, the yellow drop shadow, I didn't delete that, I just hid it. So actually you can hide effects by clicking on the eye, and it will show you what it looks like after. So if you want to be like, do I want that, so let's make it a little more visible so you guys can see. Say I have like a big red, looking like Christmas thumbnail here on the drop shadow, and I'll make it a little bit bigger. And I'm like, I don't know if I like that. I can actually go over here and click on that eye, and it'll actually go away without deleting the effect, so that I can click back and forth and see if I like it or not, which is super helpful. Also, another helpful thing, if you click on Window and go down to History, it will actually pop up this window, which shows every step you've made so far. So if I were to click back to here, let's see, I'll click back further. Let's click back to here. So you can see I'm already way back there. But if I go, it enables you to go from one place to another. If you decide you go down a path and a rabbit hole, and you decide you don't like that and you want to go back to what you originally had, you can through the history window. But I'll go back to where I was. So now, you know, I'm making a gaming thumbnail, I said. So now I'm going to add in a gaming character. So The Witcher's kind of gained in popularity here due to the Netflix series. It's kind of picked up steam again. So I'll go with The Witcher for now. So what you want to do is search for a PNG image of whatever you're searching for. So if you're looking for like Zelda, Luigi, if you're looking for a cheeseburger, whatever you're looking for, just search for a PNG image. It'll make your life a lot easier because that will have the transparent background. And let me show you what I mean by that. So I like this picture right here. It looks fine. So I'll actually save that image. So then if I go to where I saved that image, I can find it here and I can actually just drag it over into Photoshop and boom, there's no background on that image. So at that point, I can move it around. I can put it like kind of here-ish. I can actually change the size of it by clicking and dragging the corner, you know, something like that. And I can actually, so in order to finalize, it's not really final, but in order to stop moving it around, you want to hit this icon again. And if you need to move it around anymore after that, decide you don't like it, click on it and hit Control-T, and that's going to open up that window and let you move that around again. Now, when you're selecting a PNG image, be careful. There are some that, you know, for instance, this one looks like it has a PNG background, a transparent background, but when I click on it, and if I were to go ahead and save that one and try to drag it over, it actually has that transparent background attached to the image. So when you're looking for a PNG image, make sure that the one that you're looking at, it should not look transparent here, but when you click on it, then it is transparent. That's how you know you've got one that works. Whereas if it looks transparent already and you click on it, you're going to end up with that situation. Now that I've got Geralt in here, I'm going to take and I can actually add effects to Geralt, just like I did with the text. So I'm going to click on the FX button while I have Geralt selected, and I can add a glow to Geralt. Okay, so now Geralt's popping. I'm going to move the title up a little bit to kind of give Geralt some room there to breathe. But say I didn't want to do that and I wanted the title to be over him anyway, all you have to do is grab the layer that has your title and drag it above the layer that has Geralt, and then you see the title is now overlapping Geralt, and if I were to pull that down, Geralt is actually behind the thumbnail now. So you know what, I'm actually going to try this. Okay, and if you don't like that linear effect on your thing, on your title, you can actually, like, you know, just like anything else, enter it in, change it. You can go up here. You can actually, you know, you can go to the properties of the text and you can actually change it to a centered format so that it's like even. So I'll actually do that here. Kind of move Geralt over. Now say I wanted to add my channel logo to this thumbnail. So what I'll do is find that. So I'm actually going to open a new Photoshop tab because my logo is actually attached to my background. The artist who did that for me, my brother, it's both like this is what I consider my logo and this is my channel header. So, but I just want this guy on here. So I opened it up in a new window. I can now crop this image. And now I'm actually going to zoom my view on here so I can do something else to it. Okay, so now I have this, and I'm going to use this pen tool here to now highlight around the circle. And this is where that history window comes in play, because if you mess up, you can just click back one. So now that I have the circle completed and it's connected back to where I started, I'm actually going to right click this and click make selection. So I'm going to hit OK. You can do a feather radius. That just basically means it's going to be more lenient on the lines you made. I'm going to do 0 pixels so that you can see see how the circle is kind of not perfect. If you do a feather radius, it's going to give it like a feather effect that's going to kind of soften those edges out. So now that I've got that selected, I'm going to go down here and I'm going to select this. It's called masking. And so it's actually going to remove that background except for what I had selected. So I can actually go over the background layer and delete it. And it's almost like I've created a custom PNG image. So I'm actually going to save this on my computer as a PNG file so that it won't have that transparent background attached to it. And I'll just make it, you know, logo. So now, same deal as with Geralt, I'll go to where I saved that and I will add the logo. And now it's just this image. It's not that background we had masked hidden there. It's literally just this PNG image. So with that, I'm going to add a outline. So actually something else we can do is we can actually affect the images that we add. So I'll highlight that image and I go up here to image and select adjustments, and I can adjust everything from brightness, contrast, levels, exposure, vibrance, all of that. So let's go ahead and change the vibrance, try to make Geralt really like look good here. Alright, you can probably see I didn't make too many adjustments, and that's probably because Geralt doesn't need many to look good, so he looks pretty fine. This looks pretty fine. So you can kind of see I've played around with it a lot in that little break. I added a mountain layer to kind of make it look like Geralt was traveling and kind of break up the monotony of just like solid color. I changed the linear format of the background to a reflected, and I changed the width of it so that I could have this like green beam shooting over the title, kind of drug the title over. Actually changed the title. If you're doing a gameplay and you want to use a screenshot of your gameplay for a background, that's fine too. Just you can add that in. You can do some image adjustments, change the vibrance, hue, contrast. There's a lot you can do. So anyways, this was the first kind of video I've ever done like this. I don't know if there will be another one. I've seen somebody ask how to use Premiere Pro, so I might do one on that, but just let me know what you guys think. If you like this video, leave me a comment, like this video, and depending on how it does, I might do another one. So thanks guys for watching. See you later.